Evening all.
Good,
Hi.
good evening, good morning. Well, we're well represented today. So I'm going to say today, not tonight, because it's currently the morning in the UK, in Italy, um, and South Africa. So and the Aussies, we're in evening, but here we are on the call. I love this. I love seeing your faces. So welcome everyone for middle of April's halfway gone, and I hope everyone had a nice break over Easter, whatever that meant for you. So hello. Right, okay. That's a bit
Hi.
long, is it? Okay, good. Well, I'm sure there's lots of cool stuff and exciting stuff to talk about. Now I think Deb, this is your first one, isn't it, of these? And Glenda, you haven't
Yeah.
been here for a little while, so we might. And Jam, you also sort of. Some people won't know you, so I'm gonna throw you all under the bus, just to do a quick little either an introduction or a reintroduction of you and where you're at, and I know Glenda, people are going to want to know how did you end up in Lucca in Italy. So, um, but Deb, why don't we start with you?
Okay. I started writing a book, it must be 8 years ago, I think. Well, actually, it was longer than that, but was fiddling around for a long time. And then I had some problems with that book, so I switched to another book, and it's on nursing careers and allied health because I am a nurse and have been for over 40 years. And I met Andrew about 7 years ago, I think now, and I'm almost there with it.
Very
The
good.
pandemic slowed me down. It slowed a lot of us down, didn't it?
I did, I did.
Um, yeah, so
You're
that's
here.
where I'm at.
Well, that's good, Deb. And what I love, and this is, and I say this every single time, 7 years. How easy would it be to give up and go, oh, it's too hard, I can't do it, and make COVID knock me around and make all the excuses and justifications why you didn't do it and could have done it and should have done it, woulda, shoulda, woulda, shoulda, woulda, and you would all should all over yourself. But the fact that you're here, Deb,
Hmm,
is inspiring.
thank
And
you.
dreams there, and you're hanging in there, and you're still doing it, and it will, is any doubt that Deb will be a published author? I think not. So good on you, Deb, and good to see you tonight. This is what you'll find about with this forum, and is this is an amazingly inspiring group of people, and you'll leave after this feeling fired up. I know I do every single time. So thanks, Deb. Glenda, do you mind just giving us a quick re-intro because we'd love to hear about you've had some fabulous journeys over the last 12 months.
Yeah. So I guess my summary is I'm a South African born Australian living in Italy. So from the Italian's perspective, I'm a South African. From the Australian perspective, I'm a South African. From a South African's perspective, I'm an Australian. So I kind of whatever. So I love this global community
Well,
because
from your perspective, what are
it
you?
works for me.
What are
Yeah.
you from your perspective?
I guess I'm a global
Global citizen.
citizen of heaven, whichever way you want to look at it. So yeah, currently living in a place called Lucca in Italy, which is kind of between Florence and the coast. So easy access to mountains, easy access to sea, fully walled city, really cool. It's a bit like stepping back in
You're
time.
close to Leaning Tower, yeah? That's quite close.
Yes, we're close to Pisa. Yeah, yeah. So about half an hour to Pisa. So yeah, Pisa Airport is half an hour away. So we can get flights to, I mean, we're off to Morocco in September, Berlin in August, which, from Australia, it's unheard of. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I guess that's probably summarizes and matches quite closely with the book that I have been writing for a while. So Andrew, I was trying to actually remember, I think Andrew contacted me on LinkedIn. So you see, LinkedIn does work. And that's how we connected. And yeah, he helped me on my journey of getting my manuscript done. But I guess the point I was going to make is I'm passionate about people doing their stuff rather than listing their stuff. So my book is actually, I don't know if this is going to be the landing title, but it's kicking out the bucket list. So instead of making a bucket list of stuff that always grows and never actually happens, it's about motivating and helping people get on the journey and do stuff. And I guess that's why I'm living in Italy, because I'm
awesome.
living the dream / nightmare.
So you're creating your list retrospectively, Glenda.
I'm creating a list retrospectively, and the book kind of goes through matching it to other people's expected lists and what that means, and yeah, so it's rather getting on with it and then reflecting on what I actually have done, and matching it to my passions rather than what somebody else thinks. When there was someone I was speaking to recently that said, I felt guilty that I didn't have a bucket list, because she said, I'm actually content with my life. And everybody seems to think that I must travel because now I've got free time and money. She said, you've made me feel better that I actually don't have to have a bucket list, that I can actually be content with the life I lead. So that was kind of a bit of a different perspective on it as well. So so Andrew helped me through my manuscript and got me to the end. And this isn't actually an update for him, because he doesn't know this yet. I'm actually working with a publisher in Canada. So let's introduce another country to the mix. So working through some edits and stuff for my book at the moment. Yeah. So it's very cool.
Good on you, and welcome. Good to see you, and congrats.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for your help to get me to the stage.
You're welcome. A pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Jam, let's hear from you.
Sure. Evening, morning. Hello, everyone. I'm Gemma. I met Andrew, I think, somewhere around the 8-year mark ago. Started working on my first book at that stage. Loved to write, had always desired to write a book and had started plenty, never finished any, and didn't actually think it was possible. Now I've got 3 books done, and I'm working on my 4th one now for a new series. So I'm a fantasy writer. So I write the books that I like to read. So I figure if you write from a place of passion and enjoyment, it's something that you'll always enjoy doing. Been a bit sporadic over the last sort of couple of years, just with some personal family stuff. But I'm sort of getting myself back on track at the moment. Had a holiday couple of weeks ago to Queensland and got the opportunity to settle back into a daily routine with writing while I was away. So kicked the family away from me for a half an hour to an hour, and enjoyed myself immensely getting back into my daily side of things. So yeah, that's who I am.
Thanks, Jam, and congrats on book number 4 on the way. And I love that. Write a book that you would like to read, because you know why that's so good? Then you can you're always going to be a success, because you know at least someone's going to enjoy the book, right? Like someone's going to enjoy it. You can't fail. I love that. That's awesome. Good on you, Jam. Yeah. And she's done incredibly well with her books, and she'll just keep writing, won't she? It'll be
absolutely
series after series after series for a long, long time. So good on you, Jam. Okay, well, why don't we just open it up now, just for anyone who feels like they want to share something, as we always do each month, is just any questions, any thoughts, any breakthroughs, any achievements, anything you're proud of, anything you want to hear, any questions you want to ask. The floor is open.
Can I just mention something, Andrew?
Yes, you can, June. Of course you can.
Thank you. So after last month's forum, Sue and I got together and spoke about being accountability buddies for each other. And up until this month, I haven't realized the power behind having an accountability buddy. And also the bravery and courageousness it takes to actually to find that person, and to be open that you need someone like that in your life. So yes, I'm very, very grateful in the last month, because my book that I'm busy writing has evolved tremendously since speaking to Sue on a weekly basis. So I'm very excited.
So that's awesome, Eugene. That's so good. Okay, but I think just so everyone why is having an accountability partner been so effective for you?
Because I'm so busy with other things on a daily basis that the daily grind and the importance of writing daily has just become so apparent. And knowing that if I don't write, I've got to go and tell Sue, I haven't written this week and I'm sorry. And what's your excuse? And there is no
Is she a
excuse
hard
for 10
taskmaster?
minutes. Oh man, I tell you.
Is she tough?
I think it's more like in my mind
You're tough
that I
with yourself.
don't. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to disappoint. But it's been so good for me. Just like knowing that she's there in the background. And yeah, it's been awesome. It's really been awesome.
That's so good. Thank you, Jean, for sharing that, because I know on the Saturday morning forum or the Friday evening forum, depending on where you're living, there's a group of 3 ladies that do exactly the same thing. They check in on a daily basis, and it has made such a difference to all of them. So I really want to encourage you, if you feel like you're struggling with daily touching of the book, daily action, find someone. And I'm sure Jean wouldn't mind if you reached out to her, because it probably, if you've got a few other people, get a little small group, whether it's one person or 2 or 3 people. I know Kat has done that for a little while with people, haven't you, Kat? And that's been a really positive way for you to get your habit going, and then for you to help other people get that daily habit going. It's wow, it makes a difference, doesn't it? So Jean, thank you. That's an awesome way to start the session and a really powerful point for everyone. Hello, Jeanette. Good to see you.
Hello, Andrew. I'm wearing my binoculars.
You look very sexy with your binoculars.
Thank you. They're actually magnifiers, so I can see
Oh,
properly.
so I'm looking really big. I'll
Hello,
probably look better if
everybody.
you take them off.
I'm actually on my phone because you wouldn't believe it. I don't know if it turns around, but my computer's decided to do a whole restart. I don't know if you could see that. There's my computer.
Well,
So yeah, anyway, so I just had to jump on to this forum, and I have been wanting to catch all the forums actually, but just life's been pretty crazy. Oh, as far as the book's gone, I think I definitely need an accountability buddy that's going to whip me in line. Yeah, I must say I really struggle with touching the book every day.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's been a real challenge, but I think the accountability is the way to go.
Well, if you want an accountability partner, and
I'm putting my hand up.
okay, so if anyone's here would be happy to go accountability partner with Jeanette, just give us a wave and I'll connect you. And then
Thank you. I am on my phone, so I can't see everybody.
No, that's okay. So yeah, just anyone that so Jean's put a thumb up. So what I'll do is I'll connect you guys. You're both on Facebook. So I'll just connect you on Facebook, and then you guys can do the rest.
Thank you.
What a beautiful group of people.
Thank you.
I love
it. Thank you so much. Muchly appreciated.
And welcome, Jeanette. Good to see you.
Thank you.
And this takes courage, as Jean said, it takes courage to reach out for help. It takes courage to put your hand up and say, I need an accountability partner, because really what you're doing, accountability is one of the scariest things in the world, isn't it?
Yep.
You're saying is you are going to commit to something that's scary for you, and now you're going to actually put it out there and put it out. You put it out to this group, and B, you're going to make yourself responsible to a person. So now you've sort of got to do it.
Got to eat your words up.
It's scary, but it's one of the best things you'll ever do.
Yeah.
Once you get over that initial fear. So good on you.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyone else got thoughts, ideas, questions, inspiration, breakthroughs? I know there is. Don't be shy. We'll go John first, and then we'll go to Sue. And I know Sue and Justin have got some exciting news. So,
okay. Yesterday I travelled down to. Hang on. You know what my memory's like.
You drive far too many miles, John, and you can't remember where you.
Leopold in Geelong, and I presented at the Probus group down there. There were 54 people in the Probus group, and for those of you who don't know what Probus is, Probus members are generally retired business people, and they're retirement age, most of them grandparents. And I spoke to them about my journey and took my books down. And there were 54 people there, and I sold 84 books. So one lady purchased 7 for herself, and one for each of her grandchildren. And most of them were purchasing the books, and they were going to read them themselves and then pass them on to their grandchildren, which is what I hope does happen. So there's many ways to sell your book once you've got a book. And on the way home, I had 2 Probus clubs contact me, another one from Geelong and one in Ballarat, and they have booked me. I had to pull over and take a booking, and I had to pull over a second time and take another booking. So if anyone has a book, I can tell you that Probus clubs, they are looking for speakers all the time. And they're really keen. A lot of them are readers, of course. So it was quite an exciting day. Andrew's writing a note down.
I'm writing it down because that's
get into it. I'll tell you, Andrew.
Don't worry, mate. I'm onto it. I am so onto it.
Can you believe there are 26 Probus clubs in Ballarat?
Wow.
Yep, and I've already spoken at 8 of them.
Well, put in a good word for me, would you, mate?
So,
and put in a good word for Sue and Justin as well.
Absolutely, yes.
So I think Sue and Justin, that'd be perfect for you guys.
That's it.
And anyone that wants to fly to Australia, Chris, you can fly to Australia.
I could fly to South Africa and speak at one Probus group and then fly home again.
Can I ask, what sort of books are they, John? Are they fiction?
I only have the one book. It's called Carmen's Legacy. It's about my daughter who we lost in a car accident 27 years ago when she was just 18 years old. And I feel for, who was it who took 7 years to write their book?
Well, that was Deborah.
Deborah, yes. And it took me 20, and that's when I first met Andrew. Because
it wasn't 20 years ago.
That was
more than 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's more than 20 years ago. But last year the book was published in February, and it took me 20 years, and I've self-published, and it took me 20 years to get it done. And I've never cried so much in my entire life as an old bloke. It was pretty tough, I can tell you. But putting the words on paper, word by word, of what we all went through was just incredibly tough. And that's why I know grandparents are sitting there. Every one of us are scared stiff of what might happen to our grandchildren on the roads. The roads are the most dangerous place for anyone to be in the world. That's where people die every single day on our roads, or get seriously injured. So the grandparents that I speak to at these Probus clubs, they just want the book. Yeah. So that's an avenue of taking your book to people. And mine's a different story, of course. Yours will be a different story, but they're readers. Most of them will be readers.
And John, you published your book, what, about just over 12 months ago now? Or was it 12
Yes, February last year.
Okay, so just over 12 months. How many would you say you've sold since then?
I can tell you exactly.
Of course you can.
2,300, about 2,350. And I haven't got any Facebook or links to anywhere. I do a lot of it myself because that's what I've always done, has been a person who gets out there and promotes myself and promotes what I think is the right message. And just before Easter, I spoke at a school in Werribee, and there's a photo on my Facebook page of the year 12 students who just pulled out their credit cards and purchased the book off me. And every teacher that was in the room purchased the book as well. Plus they purchased another 12 to put in the library of the school.
Yeah, so thanks, mate. And I think, look, this is such an important point that I just want to emphasize again. And I know last time, John, you were here, we had this chat. So if you were here last month, you've heard this. Apologies, but I think it's worth hearing again. John struggled with writing a book for 20 years.
I did.
He did. And I know for a lot of those years, I know it was hard. And as you can imagine, I mean, when you're writing a book about losing your daughter, like, and that's not John's only story, because was it 18 months earlier you had a car crash and ended up pretty much like a serious car crash, and which changed your whole life.
Yes.
So you can imagine how hard this process was. But I've always said to John, your life is going to change immeasurably when you're a published author.
Yeah.
Because he was already driving around the country, speaking in schools and corporate stuff and speaking to hundreds of thousands of people. But I said, mate, you can't do, well, he knew that. You can't do that forever.
That's right. That's right.
The book will go places he'll never go. And already 2,300 books in 12 months is a pretty amazing achievement as a self-published author. But, you know, the thing that John mentioned last year is the deal potentially that will happen, and it's going to happen, isn't it, John, with Australian Road Authority, that every year 10 student in Australia will get a copy of your book. And how many students are there? Year 10 students?
Yeah, there's 330,000 year 10 students. That's what
that's every year then, I'm thinking.
That's every year it will happen. And
do the maths on that, guys.
Yeah. And because they need to know what they're going to do to their families, should they take the risks that they are taking on the roads. And the book empowers them to bring their entire family into their life and understand how important they are. And as I say in the book, you're the most important person in the world to the people who love you so much. Yeah. And I've already got permission and I have to apply for a grant, but Road Safety Australia want me to, and I've got 20 schools already committed to putting it into their schools next year in the second term of next year. So all of those students will learn the book over a one term. And once that's been done and proven to the Road Safety Australia, then it'll go the next year in 2025, I would hope, to 330,000 students, plus 25,000 of the Year 10 teachers as well. So as I said, I wish I did know how to do the internet marketing and all of that type of thing, but I've always in my life been a person who gets out there and does it myself. So that's how my book is doing what it's doing. Yeah.
Look, I think, John, and that's amazing. And I think there's a really good lesson. I mean, yes, we've got the internet, we've got social media, and I think too many people just rely on social media. It's the easy, isn't it? It's an easy option, almost that lazy option. Well, I've got a Facebook page and I'm sending out. But you still, if you want to be successful like John is and will be, you've got to get out and you've got to meet people. You've got to chat. You've got to make phone calls. You've got to get face to face. I think that nothing will ever substitute connection because people are buying you, really, aren't they?
They are. Yeah.
And
Andrew, the other thing is that as you're writing your book, you have to get and do it. It's as simple as that. How many times did I stop for 2 years? And not be game to go back? I was not game. I didn't have the intestinal fortitude to go back and put myself in that position again. Or I'd pull the keyboard out to start again, and I'd immediately burst into tears at the thought of what I was doing and what I was trying to put on paper. And it was really difficult. And now, because I'm really old, I have to get this out there and I have to make this happen because Carmen has taken me to all of these schools. This is her story. I'm just the messenger. And now, as Andrew kept saying to me, my message can't stop when I pass away. And the way to keep it going is to have a book. And he has been 100% right all the time. And he gave me those pushes when I needed them. I know that Andrew would have been very disappointed with me when he pushed me and I didn't do anything, because so many times he'd ring me and he'd say, so how's it going now? I haven't done anything. But Andrew would never say to me, come on, get it. You know, he would say, well, that's okay. When you're ready, he just gently eased me along. And what I have now is something that I'm incredibly proud of, which is the book. And you can see my family behind me. That's Ange and my 3 daughters. That's me there. And I've won quite a few awards. But the book is the pinnacle of the mountain that I've been climbing, and I'm almost to the summit, and I'll be at the summit with Carmen's message in 2025 when Australia says this book is going into every Year 10 student's hands, and our roads will always stay the same. There'll be still the same number of people killed on our roads if there isn't some education made, and this is in every country around the world. These young kids have to be educated. And so I've got a double sword, I guess, and this is my purpose. And I know everyone who's writing a book here right now has a purpose. And one of them is that you want to be able to read your book. And then when I wrote my book, Andrew will tell you, I had no confidence that anyone would ever read my book, and because I wasn't a reader myself. And I'm just amazed at what's been happening, and you will be amazed at what you can achieve when you finish your book.
Awesome. Thanks, John, for that. I mean, I'm feeling quite superfluous right now, but that's okay. Lucky my ego's not as big as it used to be. And as for being too old, mate, settle down. You've got decades left. But thanks, mate. I mean, does anyone need to hear any more? Really, we could go home right now, couldn't we? But we won't, because I think Justin, was it Justin or Sue? Sue, tell us the great stuff you and Justin are doing.
Thank you. I invite Justin to come in on this too. But thank you, John, for an absolutely inspirational story. Justin and I haven't had to write from a deep-seated sadness like you, and I can only imagine the grief that you went through and the way you transformed that into the action of your book and the coverage, your own personal achievement and your success in the sales is truly inspiring for all of us. And for Justin and I, it's a different story in that we met as teachers and I was coaching as well. And Justin had some 17 years in the wellbeing industry. And we started a business together called My Manifesto, which was about co-creating people's life stories, who they were, who they are, and what they stand for. And as coaches, we work with people to bring to life their values, their strengths, what they cared about, and so on. We put it out in a website and we ticked over for a year and we were pretty happy with that. But then I saw Andrew's ad on LinkedIn about, if you've got a book in you. And I am an English teacher, so I suffer from that other thing that says I'm not Shakespeare, I'm not great. Yes, I'm literate. Yes, I should be a fantastic writer. But hey, you can teach that stuff, but you also have to do it. So I needed to find a voice and a register for the book Justin and I decided to write. And it was a book for everyone to be able to access. We didn't want to make it that, you had to come from a university background or an academic background or be a committed reader or any of the above. So we wanted to write a conversational book, but Justin and I wanted to distill the work I did and he did as coach and well-being advisors, if you like, into language and into exercises and active work that people could do as a DIY book in seven steps, at the end of which they'd have their own unique life manifesto. And today, Justin, you tell out where we're up to today. It was 3 months and 1 day ago that we started writing our book. Over to you, Justin.
Thank you, Sue. Yeah, it was an exciting day. We met with Andrew this morning and we're there are 3 parts to the book. Part 1 has 6 chapters, which is priming your manifesto to kind of warm you up, to give you some language, to talk about starting where you're at and moving beyond fear and so on. Then part 2 is where the work happens, and that's where the 7 steps are, the 7 chapters. There are 3 exercises in each of the chapters. There are quite a number of quotes and stories and examples. And then the 8th chapter in part 2, we bring those 7 steps together and help them to craft their manifesto. And we've just finished that section. And now part 3 is just a short little 5 chapters at the end, which talks about living your manifesto, because it's one thing to craft it, it's another thing to then live according to your manifesto. And so 19 chapters, I think we're kind of 16 or 17 chapters done. But what we've felt was really important, because the process has evolved over the 3 months Sue and I have been working on it and writing it, is we've put a call out to some friends and some family, and even putting a call out here to anyone who may be interested. But we're after 20 people to trial the 7 steps. and part of their answers will become kind of anonymous little case studies in the back of each of the chapters and steps. And so I think we're on 16 or 17 people and so on, but an invitation, if anyone was genuinely interested to go through the 7 steps, where kind of literally Thursday is the day we're sending out the manuscript of part 1 and part 2, and giving people 2 months to help go through that and then give us feedback on, was there anything missing? Was there anything unclear? And would you be happy to share some of your responses to help fellow future readers? So that's where we're up.
That's awesome.
Up and all going okay.
That's so good, you guys. Well done. And for everyone that's sitting there wanting to slap you because 3 months and you've been going 3 months and you've nearly got a first draft done, people here are going, what?
Well,
I mean, there's 2 of them. So, the Twin Powers Connect, is that what it is?
Yeah, I was going to say, when we're talking about accountability, there's nothing like co-authoring. And I know, Justine, there, you co-author too, don't you? And it's almost to me like a miracle when Justin, because he works at the end of the day and I work at the start of the day, and I would wake and find a chapter written by Justin overnight, because we use a shared Google Docs and we both have it live. And he works and puts his straight into his chapter. I get it, I read it, I go, you review track changes. This is what I think, mate. Put that there's wonderful, great, keep going. And then I write my chapter and he gets it. We use Habit Share because Andrew put us onto it. We love it. It's that touch the book. Because we both come from teaching backgrounds, we have that little bit, if you don't get the class ready, the class doesn't happen. So when we touch the book every day, I think we both had a day off a week, it became something that I have developed a real sense of loss if I don't do it. Yeah. It's not Justin that I'm feeling the loss for. It's myself for not having done that, having missed. And because it's first draft, and I know all of you who've done so much more will know how hard it is, no doubt, from here on, all the editing and so on. But the joy of putting on the page, and thank you, Justine, you said you've got to be aware of your whys. Why are you doing this? And I remembered it all the way. It's not about you, Sue, Justin, it's not about us. We want to do this to give over, to lead as servant leadership, give over what we think we know from what we've experienced over that 15-month period to anyone else who can have the same feeling of joy that we had when we went, oh my goodness, I'm living an intentional life now. That's the one I want to lead, because I've chosen to do that and I've found the words to put it in.
Yeah. That's awesome. And so what I would like to do is just endorse, for those of you that, like me, been beaten around the head, manifesto simply means vision, right? Like it's your life vision, purpose. And, every one of you that has worked with me, the first thing we do, the first question I ask is why? How do you want to live? What is your vision? So I think this, if I just want to endorse this, I mean, what a beautiful opportunity for you to get access to this incredible information that can help you create your vision, manifesto, whatever you want to call it. So I think it would be, to help these guys out, but it would absolutely help you out for sure. So I just want to, you can pop a message in chat. You can either send a private message to these guys in the chat, or you can put it and they will follow up and send you some stuff. But I just want to endorse it because I think the start of any journey has got to be clarity of vision. Otherwise, you're going to end up in circles or back to square one or frustrated, or as many of us have found ourselves in life, because we don't have clarity. Clarity is key. With clarity comes sense of urgency. But thanks to Justin, and well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, who else do we want to hear from? Well, this is inspiring stuff, isn't it? Who else are we going to hear from? Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Even if you don't feel like, I know some of you sitting there going, oh yeah, but I haven't done much. Still want to hear from you. Just, what have you done? I'm sure you've done something. And the fact you've turned up,
I'm interested in anyone saying anything, because I'm new and I haven't heard from everyone. So feel free to speak to me.
Everyone, this is for Deb. All right. We're all here for Deb today, this morning, this afternoon.
I'm happy to address Deb. I feel like I've spoken a lot, but is it okay to talk, Andrew?
Sure.
I gave a long intro. Yeah, thanks, John, for your. I'm sort of at a stage where what you said was really useful for me. When Jean was sharing about accountability partners, I'm a coach, so I help a lot of people from an accountability perspective. I'm one that doesn't mostly need accountability. So I'm pretty good at, if I decide I'm going to do something, I get on with it. My bigger question is what John said, is anyone ever going to be interested in my book? And is anybody going to be interested in what I have to say? So that's been the sort of gremlin that I've had to battle all the way through. So then I'd start something and I'd stop and I'd start and I'd stop. When I got to the end of my first draft of the manuscript, Andrew helped push me to send out things to publishers. I'm not sure if he really realized that he did that, but he gave me some ideas and he said, just send stuff out to publishers. And I sent out to a few publishers and got lots of rejections. And so that stopped me in my tracks again. I thought, oh, nobody wants it. And I just actually did stop for a bit. And I just thought, no, I didn't put anything on LinkedIn. I didn't put anything, and I just took a break away from it. And then an opportunity opened, and I'm now working with the publisher. And so the right person came across my path at the right time. And now I'm on the track to having a publisher and having a published book. So I guess what I'm saying is, firstly, don't have doubt because some people don't want it or don't get it or whatever, that there aren't others that will. And that, yeah, at the right time in the right place, it's a case of just persisting. And it can still happen even if the first time, the second time, the third time it feels as if it's not going to. Just keep going and persisting with your dream.
That's awesome. Beautiful. Thank you, Glenda. That was powerful. Thank you. And well done. I'm very excited for you and your new exciting part of your journey. Justine. Yeah, absolutely. Justine, I think you want to say something.
Oh, I did. I just want to share, I've booked in for the writing retreat in Bali. Woohoo. I've got the plane tickets and everything, haven't I, Andrew?
So you have.
I'm very excited about that. I'm doing 2 writing retreats this year. So one in Bali and one in Ireland at Crom Castle with an ex-duchess, so to speak. So
yeah, good share.
Yes. Hello, Fergie. She will be there. So looking forward to that. Some of you know, some don't know, I'm putting together an anthology. So I'm writing another chapter, Andrew, as you know. It's a big project. I'm working alongside MS Australia on this one because I have MS and I wanted to put together a book that would become someone's survival guide, and sharing other people's stories of MS in Australia, that our life hasn't stopped because we became disabled. It just took on a different meaning. So I had a target of getting 20 authors together and I've got 27. So from all around the country, and I've also got a celebrity in there, but I can't say who it is yet.
Oh, come on. Tell us.
Not until it's locked in until he signed the contract. Then I spoke to him yesterday and he's a radio personality from Sydney, so you can work out who it is. And I've just sent off the contracts to writing and illustrating another children's book for a charity called River's Gift, and I'm doing 21 illustrations, and I've written the children's book, and children's books are harder to write than any other book on the planet. So and I had the privilege of interviewing on my Resilience Mindset podcast John on Friday, and we're going to get together in May sometime when I'm back in the state of Victoria and I'm not in WA or Queensland or New South Wales, and we're going to do a little project together to help Carmen's legacy as well. And I've got someone to help as well, John, so some good news
there you go.
along there. Yeah. So anyway, thank you, Andrew, for bringing us all together.
Welcome. I love it. I love to see what happens when you bring like-minded people together. Powerful stuff happens. Chris, hello. Good to hear from you.
Hi there. Justine, I know that I'm in the UK and you're looking for Australian people with MS, but
Next year we're doing an
We
international.
can
book,
adopt you as
Chris.
an Aussie, Chris. You're an adopted Aussie. Just
I'd
say,
love to
g'day.
be.
Can you
I'd
say
love-
g'day, just say g'day, mate.
Next
I'd
year
love to be
we're
an
going
Oz-
international. We're doing it international. So we'll do one in Australia every year, but then I've got connections in the US and connections in the UK. So don't worry, Chris. I'll be looking for you next year.
Awesome.
21 years it is this year, 21 years, and I'm healthier, fitter, and happier with it. And I've reversed disability. So I've gone from wheelchair to walking, and they're the positive messages we need to get out about this explosion of chronic health conditions that are in our society now, Thanks.
Good. That's awesome, mate. Good on you, and thank you for that. I just want to, before we go to the next person, I just want to go back to some stuff Glenda was saying, and I think this is a fear we all have about, is anyone going to be interested in our book? Yeah, will it sell? And I just want to give you perspective, because I think we build this dangerous belief around success as an author, that we've got to sell a certain number of books, or it's got to be a best-selling book to be successful. And I think my recommendation is for you to redefine what is success. I want to apparently, and I was chatting to there's a guy called Adam Wallace, who some of you may have heard of. He's actually going to be coming to Bali, and one of the speakers at the retreat. He's published well over 100 children's books. He said he sold over 5 million books. 5 million books. And he said some of them, from a sales point of view, were an absolute failure. But he said every single one of them was a success because he loved it. He loved the process of creating it, of writing it. And for him, what happens once that book's out there, and he can't control that. There's no control over who buys your book. There's control of what you do to write it and promote it. But then what happens is out of your control, So he doesn't define success by number of sales. He defines success by the joy he gets from the process of writing his book. He also spoke about Adam Sandler, which we all know Adam Sandler he won some award recently. I'm not sure what it was. Someone here might know what it was. But he was asked, tell us about your box office flops. He said I didn't have one failure as a movie. Now, they may not have been successful as successful in the box office as others, but gee, I had fun making them with my friends and the people we made them with, and it was an absolute hoot. So in my mind, I have not had one failure. Every one of them's been a success. So the reason I want to tell you this is because we put all this pressure on sales and numbers and books, units moved and whatever, and that is not your measure of success. Your measure of success is how you feel about what you're writing and the joy you have in creating something that's going to entertain, inspire, move people. And look, and even if it's one person, even if it is just one person, but you change that person's life, and there's a ripple effect from that one person. Now, it's going to be way more, but do you understand what I'm saying? I just want you to bring joy into this process, not stress or will I, can I, can't I, should I, shouldn't I. Just do it because you know in your heart you've got something to share. I'm just blabbing at the moment, but I went to, in Melbourne, there's a gallery called The Loom. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. If you're in Melbourne, you've heard of The Loom. And it's this most extraordinary art gallery, but it's a light show. So you go into this massive room, and it's Monet and friends. So all Monet's paintings, but they're all illuminated around the room, and there's music, and there's it's such an emotional feeling. But there was on the wall, there was a quote from Monet, and this is what he said. This is what he said about his art. He said, "All I did was look at what the universe showed me to let my brush bear witness to it. All I did was to look at what the universe showed me to let my brush bear witness to it." Like, he didn't overthink his paintings. You get what I'm saying? He didn't go, oh, it's got to be this, it's got to be that, and I've got to do this. And those artists back in the French Impressionist era, most of them died poor and alone. And it's not until after they died that their art became famous. And we all know Van Gogh's story. Same story. But why did they do it? Because it was in them to do. And to them, success was the creation. And I just want to encourage you to find your joy and your success from what's coming out of you, not the external result of that. Now that will happen. Trust me, it will happen. But I just wanted to throw that little perspective out there because I think it's important. Anyone else want to share any thoughts, any other comments, questions, breakthroughs? Joe, hello, Joe. Good to see you. You look at you in the dark, just glowing down there.
Apologies for being late because I was running late. I didn't even stop to turn the lights on. So.
Well, it's all good. Good to see you. Oh, come on, there's got to be some more. Are we gonna wrap it up here? Are we?
Well, I was just wondering, can an almost there author be a fair accountability buddy, or would it be one-sided?
Well, no, I don't think so. I think even as an almost author, you still stuff you need to do every day. Even as an author, Gem, isn't there? There's still stuff you've got to do every day. You know, you've got to do stuff every day to market your book, to sell your book, to promote your book, calls you got to make. You know, I mean, even today, you know, for me, every day I'm on LinkedIn. As you know, there's people on this that are in this room simply because I reached out to them on LinkedIn, and Sue is one of them. And I think Glenda, I think, did we meet initially on LinkedIn? And I think Jean, did we meet initially on LinkedIn? And I think Stephen, we initially met on LinkedIn as well. So can you see there's already quite a significant percentage of people here that I just reached out to on LinkedIn and said, hey, you're doing amazing stuff. Have you ever thought about writing a book? So anything, you can be doing anything every day. And my suggestion is always to just, like, wherever you're at in the process, work out, what do I need to do every day? Get an accountability partner, get to work. So if there's accountability, one of you's in the writing stage, one of you's in the promoting stage, doesn't matter. You can still share that habit share app. Who mentioned the habit share app? Sue mentioned the habit, and Justin the habit share app. That's awesome because you can create the habit you want to share with your accountability partner. It's up to you. But just saying to that person, this is what I'm going to commit to, and I'm going to share my commitment to that with you. Thank you, Kat. I knew you'd come up with the answer. Adam Sandler won the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor. Thank you.
Andrew, can I just say that you're talking about how you connected with people here through LinkedIn. I have connected with Karen Guest through you, through this audience here, and also with Justine. And Karen has been an incredible help to me in editing my book and getting me to the stages and walking me through the steps to get it onto certain websites where like Amazon, which I had no idea about any of that stuff. So she's been wonderful there. And Justine and I are just about to start our journey. I actually was in Geelong, as I told everyone on yesterday, but Justine bolted. She didn't want to meet me, so she's somewhere else in Perth or somewhere. And
that's the excuse, mate. She just didn't want to meet you.
I'm in far north Queensland. No, I was going to go.
Yeah, so I dropped a copy of my book into Justine's letterbox at her work, and so here we are with processes that you've put in place where now we're being connected with each other, and I've already sent a message to Sue, and I am going to be I'm definitely going to be party to what you're doing, but I'm going to ask Sue if she could helped me with something as well because of her English. And so, Andrew, you've opened up a forum for all of us. Like, it's great to be speaking about things and encouraging people, but we can use each other's talents. I don't have certain talents. Oh, yes, I do. No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. You've got one or two.
Yes,
We've got
right.
a big project happening, haven't we, John?
We have. Yep, it'll be fantastic.
Oh, we look forward to hearing about
Which
that.
is an extension from the book.
That's right, it is. And something that I would never, ever have considered or thought of. But Justine said, John, what about this? Now, we can help each other in many areas. And I'm hoping I've helped some people here to maybe go to Probus or Rotary or someone like that. You know, the groups that want to hear from people who have produced a book or can speak about something. So,
Now, John, I'd love the contact details for the Probus group that you spoke to the other day.
yes, absolutely.
Please.
I'll send that through to you, yes.
And Sue, I've replied to your LinkedIn message. I'm happy to do that.
Thank you. That's another one for us, Justin. And thank you here, John, for offering to road test our working pages for the My Manifesto book.
Yeah.
That's superb. As you say, another chance, because we all get what we're trying to do here. And if we can't support each other, who will?
Yep.
So thank you so much. Thank you, Andrew, for your forum.
Oh, look, hey, if you weren't here, there'd be no forum. It'd just be me twiddling my thumbs. So thank yourselves for being here. You know, this is absolutely a group thing. So I think it might be time to wrap it up. So I want to say thank you.
Rosemary would like to say something, Andrew.
Sorry, who would?
Rosemary.
Oh, hi, Rosemary. Sorry.
Hi, that's okay. I just wanted to comment. You said earlier, Andrew, about the need for clarity in terms of driving the book writing. The process that I'm involved in writing my book, I feel as though the clarity is, becoming more as I'm going along. It feels like the writing process is like a birthing process.
Okay, and that can work that way as well. So thank you for that perspective, Rosemary. I think you've got to have a reason, the bit of clarity gets started, but then the clarity.
Oh, for sure.
Look, I know for me as well. Like, you know, I had a when I started writing. I mean, I had a vision. It was probably more a hope or a wish than anything else. And then as I started writing, that became clearer for sure. Absolutely. So yeah, I think because every word you write and every day that goes past, you get a bit clearer, you get a bit stronger, you get a bit more confidence, you gain a bit more belief, you can actually see the end coming. And so you start believing more in the book, in your vision, in everything. So yeah, I agree with that.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Kat's popped in the chat the if you want to get on that Habit Share app. So thank you, Kat, for doing that. If you want to get on the Habit Share app, the link is there. The last thing I want to say before we wrap up is I just want to mention, Justine mentioned she's coming to Bali and we're starting to get some bookings and some pretty amazing people are going to be in Bali. But there's this one thing I just want to say, because you guys know about Bali, but if you're unvaccinated, one of the things is, as you know, Bali is Indonesia is one of 2 countries in the world where you must be vaccinated. We've got a loophole to get exempt. So if you're unvaccinated and you would like to come to Bali or discuss with me coming to Bali and you're unvaccinated, there is a way to get yourself exempt and get yourself there. Anyway, I just thought I would end on that. So if you want to find out more, please let me know. And thank you, everyone, for another amazing forum and everyone that's contributed and everyone that's just been here. I just want to say thank you again. You know, I run these forums these days. They're for me. I do it for my selfish reasons, but I love that you guys are getting so much out of them, and I love what you contribute to make these happen every single month. So we'll be back in 4 weeks, same time, same place. I'll send out an email with all the information and the links and all the stuff and the recording from this if you want to rewatch it. But thank you all again and have a beautiful evening, a beautiful day, beautiful afternoon, and we'll just chatting to you all soon.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew.